Warning. I know that the last video I posted was my first video, and I was kind of scatterbrained when I did it. It was something I was kind of nervous about. I really want to do public speaking about suicide prevention and just kind of address some issues that I think might be um, valuable to paramedics, law enforcement, about the mindset of a person that's suicidal. And I'm not talking about a cutter. I'm not talking about, somebody that uh, says they're going to commit suicide, and threatens all that kind of stuff, because it really doesn't work that way. Um, so I'm going to tell you a very scary story about the first time I attempted suicide, and the, I guess, psychotic mindset that applies with it. Uh, I can't really go into great detail because I don't know how long the video will go or any of that stuff, but in a nutshell, um, I was 23 years old. Uh, my daughter was a baby. My son was a baby. I was separated from my first wife, and many of you know that woman. Y'all told me don't get with her, but anyway. Uh, I was in a bad way that night. Uh, Drank too much. Ended up getting into a fight, and went to the hospital, got stitches, got out, and for some reason I called her instead of calling, the one that loves me. And she point blank said, "Well, I could care less whether you live or die." And that's what she told me. Now, I took that as, well, fuck it, I'll show you. And I went to Walmart, because Walmart's open 24 hours, and I grabbed a box of 12 gauge shotgun shells. I'm sorry, this is kind of a gut check, but I was I bought the wrong shells, and anyway, so I went to my mom's house, and she was asleep on the couch, and that's not. I mean, it's uncharacteristic of my mother to do that, but moms know when there's a problem, and I opened the gun cabinet. I grabbed the shotgun, and my mother tried to stop me, and I just, with one hand, put her on her ass and threw the gun in my truck, and I drove into town, and smart enough to know that mom would make a phone call. So um, I parked the truck out of school, and I took the shotgun and shells, and I walked down the railway, and walked pretty much for about 2 miles with a shotgun, all the way to my ex-wife's parents' house. And when I got there, I loaded the gun, The problem was, ballistically, the gun should have never gone off because I bought the wrong shells. I bought something that was too large for the gun, and I guess God stepped in and said, "You need an ass whooping," so the gun went off. I put it under my chin, and when I hit the trigger the first time, it didn't work. I rechambered the round and hit it a second time, and bam, it went off. And it hit so hard it flipped me backwards. The gun recoiled so hard it shattered the stock. Um, and then paramedics came. My point is that I walked, a mile or two with a loaded shotgun, ready to kill anybody that came near me in order for me to die or get run over by a train or whatever. I didn't care. And that's the mindset. So hurt. I mean, hurt that nobody could bring me out of it. There wasn't medication that worked. Alcohol was like a huge, huge problem because that made the pain go away for a minute. So I stayed on it. I stopped working out. I shut down, pushed my family away. It's so horrible when you can't grasp the concept of what's going on, because you're sitting there and you're going, what the fuck is really wrong with me, and why do I think like this? This is ridiculous. Everybody else is out there having fun and I'm in pain. And you try and call people and they get tired of the phone calls. They're like, oh shit, Scott's calling and he's whining and bitching and, whatever. And next thing you know, I'm dying. So I hit that trigger. A lady named Judy Hinch was the paramedic on scene when they put stitches in my hand, and she said, "Oh my God, it's that guy." And she was there on scene. An officer from Aberdeen, Scott Beal, great guy. I'm laying there, and they pretty much said I was freaking dead. And Scott said that he was standing there smoking a cigarette, and then all of a sudden he saw air come out of my mouth and said, "Holy shit, that sumbitch is alive." And so they medevaced me to shock trauma. And those of you that know me, I gotta, win a title or set a freaking world record or whatever I can do. And I set the record for the longest surgery at University Hospital ever, 31 hours on Thanksgiving. And that's why Mom all made cakes and pies and that kind of stuff and took them to the doctors because it's Thanksgiving. But when you're willing to die, that is a very frightful place. And I really need to let my police friends know that when you have somebody that's in that frame of mind, I don't want to say just go ahead and shoot them in the leg, but they're willing to die. They're not ready to submit whatsoever. I think submission comes from God, or in my case, if I was doing something foul, you call Terry, and I'll just go, okay, I'm sorry, but it's like being the Incredible Hulk. Um, it's sudden, just a flood, a flood of adrenaline, and your mind is just racing like crazy, and it's bad decisions all over the place, but it's something that you can't stop. You can't stop it at that point. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous because you're feeding off of that pain, and to the normal person, you don't comprehend how bad that pain is. Uncontrollable crying. I think you can drive down the road and all of a sudden the song kick on and you're crying your eyes out. Looking at a picture. Next thing you know, you're weeping and you're sitting in freaking, Walmart. It's just pain like I can't truly describe it. It's I'd rather get shot, stabbed, get into a fight, whatever, than have the pain attack my heart the way you feel before you decide to take your life. That's how bad it is, if it makes any sense. So I'm gonna hop off here. I hope it helps, and I'm going to call the sheriff's department and the fire department, see if I can't get something lined up to where I can kind of go speak to them and see whether they actually want to hear, I don't know, the truth, whatever. But friends have asked if they can share these videos. Fire away, go for it. If it helps one freaking person, then that's what God wants. That's what God wants. So, happy Sunday. God bless you.